All right, the question for this segment is if it's already been decided either on KD's side of things or the team's side of things that they're going to move him this offseason. It's a loaded question. I personally hope it hasn't already been decided. But I'm going to play this cut from Brian Windhorst on Get Up yesterday.
Yeah, he's probably going to get traded this summer. He knows it. The Suns know it. The rest of the league know it. They're going to enjoy him while they have him. It's not really controversial, in all honesty. They're under 500. They've got a $230 million payroll. Then add about over $100 million in tax on that. Hembo was showing me some stats earlier. He's played almost 1,500 minutes this year, and he's +2 on the court in those 1,500 minutes. So you have an extremely expensive team that is not winning, and the player that is their most expensive player who is playing great but not impacting them on a positive level. You do not need a high-level analyst to tell you that they probably need to trade him, which is why they were exploring the trade market for him. And while I would never make an ironclad prediction, I would expect this summer for Durant and the Suns to work together to find a new home. He has 1 year left on his contract, which will give him some control as to where that will be.
Wow. Okay, so that sounds like it's a fait accompli, ladies and gentlemen. It's a done deal. So that's the way he made it sound.
And I know that's not the Suns saying that. That's Brian Windhorst. We had the cut from KD the other day when he broke 30,000. Somebody asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, we're not going to talk about that right now." Look, it's such a pivotal decision because you can give me all the stats of they're only +2 and all the minutes he's played this season. But if you watch this team, there's Kevin Durant, there's Devin Booker, and then there's the rest of the team. So if he's not the solution, okay, I don't think he's the problem. But either way, if you're in a position where you're stuck if you don't make a significant trade, fine. But the two things I would suggest, okay, if you're gonna trade him, it sure doesn't need to get out right now. Like, how about we actually do use these next 28 games to see what they're capable of and then reevaluate then. You don't need the rest of the league know you're trading him so you get pennies on the dollar for Kevin Durant. And secondly, if you're going to trade him, I really think you have to figure out a way to talk to Bradley Beal and get him to waive that no trade too. If you're going to trade Durant and you're really going to try and I know you're not starting over because you're keeping Booker, but if you just move Durant but then you keep Beal, what are you really accomplishing?
Yeah, you know what's really cool about this? Just listening to you talk. Not that you were making great sense or anything like that, or making a great point.
Just the emotional investment.
Yeah. To me, what you said, it triggered something in my own brain right now. Just the fact, ladies
you bring
and
up a point. I don't think it's a very good point.
Okay. All right, please. Now you're getting me just distracted right now. If that is the case, brothers, and knowing that the Suns right now, they're struggling to get in, and with the schedule being what it is, the rest of the way for the Phoenix Suns, ladies and gentlemen, there's a real good chance they're not going to make the postseason. They're not. Not even the play-in. They're not going to make it. And if that is true, if that is a true statement right now, what do the Phoenix Suns have to do, brothers? They've got to do everything they can to let everyone else know just how young and energized and good and happy Kevin Durant is and capable. So why wouldn't you go ahead and over these last 28 games do everything you could to emphasize Kevin Durant and the goodness thereof?
And that's what I'm saying. Like if this,
I'm talking about on the court.
Yeah, but you don't want this narrative out there that, first of all, I think you should. This is your team anyway for the next 28 games. Make those decisions in the offseason. See what you get in the next 28 games. Now, I understand where this is probably all headed, but if you've already made up your mind, then this is going to turn into a lame duck 2 months of, they went out and played hard against Houston. They went out and played hard against Memphis. But if everybody knows that things are about to change abruptly, you're not going to have that edge that would be necessary to get into the playoffs. And I get it. They probably aren't getting into the playoffs unless something changes anyway. But you've paid up for this season, right? Like you've already spent the money. You've already got Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and Devin Booker here right now. Why not see this out this season? It's not like there's a decision where should we trade him tomorrow for all these.
Sure.
Can't be traded till the summer.
Yeah.
So play it out, see what happens. get him at his best, get your team at its best, and then you can actually evaluate this summer, and you're not driving down his value.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on that. It's fantastic. But once again, this is going to be about Kevin Durant. And last night is a classic example. The Houston Rockets, this young, athletic Houston Rockets team that everyone's talking about in the association. They have played so well. Now, I know as of late they're 2-6 in their last 8 games, I believe. They're a little bit of a hiccup here. Yet at the same time, they have been an awesome story in the association this year. Well, you know what? He went out against that young, long, athletic team and scored 37 points on 15 of 22 shooting. He had 9 assists as well and 5 boards. Now, listen, he did have 7 turnovers, okay? But that I think is more a product of not having Book and Beal on the floor as well. Now, KD has turned the ball over from time to time.
But
and
I would say last
that.
night was a little bit different.
Last night was a little bit different. But I guess my point is this guy is still one of the most prolific scorers of the basketball you got in the association right now, in the entire basketball universe. Prolific when it comes to scoring the ball. And that is still going to have an awful lot of value to some teams that are out there.
And that's Houston's a good example of if you really are going to move him this summer, if that's your move, I think you got to figure out a way to move Beal, because you look at Houston or Oklahoma City, and those teams are the model. I don't think you move Booker. Like, it's funny to me when people are like, and get Booker out of here too, start completely over. It's like Booker's in his 20s.
Yeah.
And you're hoping one of these picks you get amounts to something close to Devin Booker. Well, you don't need to move Devin Booker unless he's like, I want out of here, which he's never indicated. But if you're going to trade Kevin Durant, that is a significant move. That is huge. You're going to trade one of the greatest players of all time, probably to a team that has a chance to win a championship. So just be ready for that next year when the Suns are probably going to win 36 games if you don't do this right, and Kevin Durant is winning a championship with whoever. You got to also trade Beal. You have to go all the way if you're going to do it. And I know that they already tried to do that, and I know he has the no trade, but maybe you can revisit that more clearly in the summer, because I don't like the idea of like, well, the one thing we're going to do is get rid of Durant, and that'll make us better. You got to go all one direction.
Yeah, you know what I like right now, what I'm seeing? I've seen Kevin Durant flex since the trade deadline. Would you agree with that, brothers? A little bit of a flex by KD, correct?
Back-to-back nights, too. I mean, coming off an injury, you play back-to-back nights.
That's a great point right there, especially when you're 36 years old.
Yeah.
You're playing a home and away back-to-back right there, and we saw him flex once again. We saw him respond against Memphis. We saw that, and to a lesser degree, I would say Houston last night. And it wasn't just KD, it was the team responding as well. I think there's been a little bit of a flex right there from Kevin Durant, and I think some of the guys rallied around him, and they went out and played well. They were in these games. Now, they got blown out at some point. We understand that. They got sideways on them. But still, I think in these 2 games that we have seen since the trade deadline, I think KD flexed a little bit, which is good if you're going to move him.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.